Today we're talking all about why detached homes in Hamilton are taking the biggest hit. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. It is an absolute pleasure to have you tuning in. I'm super excited about this topic today because I think it gives a lot of insight into the current Hamilton market. But before I go ahead and do that, I want to point your attention to the description below. If you want to book a call with me, you can click the link in that description and book a time that is convenient for you to connect with me. But let's dive into this topic. Why detached homes seem to be dropping more than condos and townhouses in Hamilton. So to put some numbers behind it, detached homes in Hamilton are down 11% year over year. So that means from October last year to October this year, the average price has gone down 11%. Townhouses are down 7.5%, condos are down 7%. So we're talking, an extra 3.5%, 4% there just to go, the difference between the townhouse and the detached homes. So you might be wondering why this is happening. And I'm going to give sort of my insight as to why I think that they're dropping now and then where I see them going. So the number one reason I think is just straight up affordability. Like the average price in Hamilton now is $790, and that's like across everything. $790, townhouses, condos, detached. Whereas the detached homes tend to be above that average sale price. So a lot of the detached homes were selling obviously over $1 million for the last, year, 2 years. So because those are now over the million mark, the interest rates have increased. The monthly payments on properties that are larger detached homes are starting to, the payments are just becoming so huge, it's starting to bring the prices down because people that want to sell, they have to sell it at a rate that is affordable for a purchaser to buy with the new rate. Also to point out, since the last rate hike, you're now qualifying at basically an 8% interest rate in the stress test to qualify for a mortgage now. So when you take that into consideration and you're trying to buy a large asset like a larger detached home in the $1 million+ mark in Hamilton, the affordability just doesn't seem to be there with people. I mean, I saw an article where the average income in Hamilton now to purchase at the average price needs to be $260,000 a year. That's combined income in a household. So when you think about it, a lot of those homes that are in that higher price point are those detached homes, and that's the reason that they're dropping more. I think there's just frankly less buyers out there for them. Point number two, this is something that I experienced personally, and I see it a lot with clients. So right now we have a lot of people, because the rates have gone up, they just kind of want to sit tight to where they are, or they're used to the conveniences they have. And what I mean by that is if you live in a newer townhouse, or I guess a newer townhouse, 3-story, 2-story, whatever it is, you have certain amenities that you're used to in regards to a large walk-in closet. You're used to your ensuite, new space and all that. Whereas people are not, I think I've noticed it with some clients, are not willing to give up those amenities to move into a detached home at this point. Meaning, like, I personally moved from a townhouse that was 2,400 square feet. It was 3 bedrooms with a loft. 2 of the bedrooms had an ensuite, plus there was another bathroom on the main floor, plus the powder room. And we gave that up, and it had a large walk-in closet. We gave that up for a house that has a walk-in closet about the quarter of the size we had. It doesn't have an ensuite. We just have 1 bathroom on the second floor and then a powder room on the main floor. Don't get my wife started on the closet. But we did this downsize. We renovated the house. And it's a lot of thing that I find that my generation, and even just a lot of people nowadays, aren't willing to give up. They're not willing to give up those modern amenities. I even showed a house to a couple that they were looking to buy it. It was a bungalow, and they were only going to buy it if they could figure out a way to build back to add an ensuite and a walk-in closet to the house because there was no ensuite in it. So I just find that with the market being the way it is and the detached homes being so much higher and harder to qualify for, people are even less likely now more than ever to give up the amenities that they have to go into these older homes that don't have those en-suites and walk-in closets. But that's just my personal experience. I want to hear your opinion on that. That's one of the reasons. Number 3, investors aren't purchasing as much. So when we look at duplexes, we look at triplexes, those sort of things, 4 units, 5 units, whatever, they're considered detached homes. So yeah, duplex is a detached house. If investors aren't purchasing investment properties right now, then the prices are going to come down because the only reason investors aren't purchasing is because the cash flow isn't there. Because the mortgage now, to qualify, obviously your payments are much higher. You need to either get more rents out of these properties, or you have to purchase it at a price that the mortgage is low enough and the payments are low enough that it cash flows for you. So the only way that these detached homes, like investors or people that really need to sell that have these 2 units or 3 units, the only way they're going to sell is if they drop the price, because then it makes it lucrative to an investor that'll purchase it, it'll cash flow, and then they'll go that route. So I think because the cash flow has kind of dried up with these investment properties right now, I think that that's why we're also seeing the prices come down, because they have to come down in order for the investors to purchase them. Number 4, detached homes are the most prominent type of house in Hamilton's least desirable areas. So when the market was crazy, we had agents coming from all over Toronto, GTA, and just putting clients in houses in areas that, they didn't care. Just, oh, yeah, 2.5 story brick house. Oh, this is a good deal. But the area, next door, you have a triplex that's full of, not the best neighbors. So people were buying in all these less desirable areas. So just detached prices across the board, across the city, were kind of going up. And I mentioned this in a previous video back in January. I should see if I can find the clip. But I talk about how you always want to purchase in an area that is always going to be desirable, like location, location, location. That's number one rule of real estate, in my opinion. And what's happened now with the market shifting, people don't want to move into these areas unless it's what fits their budget, but also they want to move there if it is a good deal. Like if you have the option to live in a slightly better area or a lesser area, the only way you're going to move into that least desirable area is if you feel like, wow, we're getting a really good deal on this. So downtown Hamilton, when you think about it, downtown, central Hamilton, Hamilton East, there's not really row houses or townhouses. The majority of it is detached homes. So a lot of those are sitting now. And the only way they are selling is people bringing the prices down to make it appealing to a purchaser. So I just think because there's so many more detached out there and so many more to choose from in so many different areas just across the board, that's why it's starting to bring them down. Whereas townhouses, you don't have, nearly as many as you do detached homes. I hope that makes sense. So those are really the 4 points. Where do I see detached homes going? I mean, they're taking the biggest hit because I think they also saw the biggest rise when the market was going crazy. People were just making, townhouses went up, but detached really went up. Like there was houses going that were 700 that were now starting to sell for like 1.2 million. So detached homes made the biggest jump. Do I think it's going to come back? I think at the end of the day, we'll see what Doug Ford's plan does, but they're talking about building in and not building out. So if they're restricting how many new detached properties are being built, then they're going to become a bit of a commodity, right? Like I mentioned in the one video, one podcast, I forget what episode it was. I'll try to figure that out. Maybe I'll put it in the description below. But how if you're looking to buy in Bayfront North, you want to buy around all that new development going on, James North, Bayfront North, all that, you should buy a detached property because they're only building townhouses and condos. So all of a sudden the detached property becomes lucrative for somebody that wants to live in that area but not live in a townhouse or a condo. So I think that they are always going to be a little bit stronger. I think they're going to come back stronger when things do bounce back, but who knows? I mean, I'm just a real estate agent. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I love hearing your comments. Why do you guys think detached dropped so much? I'm actually generally curious about it to get other opinions because I just love listening to people and hearing all the different opinions. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to talking again next week.